morning, good morning, good morning. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Solstice. How's everybody doing? How are you doing online? So wonderful to have you with us. So wonderful to have this beautiful energy in the room. So guess who's here? Who's here today? The Joyful Hearts Choir. Woo-hoo. Everybody else, please rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing.
Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Walnut Creek and Merry Christmas to everybody. My name is Carl Jansen. I'm so glad to be with all of you today.
And my name is Carolyn Jansen. Welcome to our service today. It's good to see everybody.
And we want to greet and bless everyone who's watching online. It's so glad to have you with us. Your presence adds so much to our day. And so sometime come by if you're local and drop in and see us. So once again, please join me in welcoming our Joyful Hearts Choir. The topic today is joy, so appropriately it's the Joyful Hearts Choir today. They are directed by Sandra Peters.
Yay, Sandra.
And we also have Jonathan Adelson on piano, even though Tyler's sitting, joined later by Tyler, Dusty on bass, and Scott on drums. And also a special guest, Carrie Butler on Glockenspiel.
And Reverend Kristen will deliver our message today, and the title is Unbridled Joy.
Before we begin, I invite you to turn your phones to silent as we enjoy our sacred service time together.
And just let's take a moment to be grateful for the land upon which our center rests. This is Bay Miwok and Ohlone land.
And we honor the Bay Miwok and Ohlone people of the past who lived on these lands for goodness knows how long, and also the Bay Miwok and Ohlone people of today. But we also dedicate ourselves to taking care not only of these sacred grounds, but all of Mother Earth. I look at you, Lee. Thank you.
Love our care team. Unity is a positive path for spiritual living. Our vision for the world is, and let's say this together, we envision a spiritually awakened world where all life thrives in conscious oneness.
And our mission is who we have come here to be. So let's also say this together. We are
a
a loving, inclusive community, expanding and living our divinity in sacred service for all. And here at Unity of Walnut Creek, we've identified 4 core values, and they are love, connection, service, and wisdom. Joy.
I always get joy in there. If you're with us for the first time, welcome. And if you'd like to raise your hand, we have a welcome packet for you. Is anyone here for the first time? You are not David. David is here always. Anyway, we invite everybody to come join us on the patio afterwards for fellowship and time to connect with one another.
Connection cards are available in the newcomers welcome packets and in the seat pockets in front of you. With these cards, you can give a prayer request, and people will pray. Our prayer team will pray with you throughout the week.
And you can also share feedback or request information, and just please put your card in the offering basket when it comes around. And for those of you viewing online, connection cards are available on the Watch Live page of our website. We have several activities to highlight this week.
Actually, we have a lot of activities to highlight this week. It's that time of year. Today is the last day to brighten up a foster child's holiday by providing a comforting teddy bear. You'll see they're all over the room right now.
Let's see those teddy bears.
Yeah, hug them up. There we go. Hug them all
Our
up.
teddy bear family.
So you can still go in the bookstore and buy another bear, and they will be delivered to the children through Children and Family Services in Pleasant Hill on Christmas Eve.
Did you want to talk?
No.
Oh, I'll do this part. Okay. Support our local families by donating non-perishable food to help those experiencing food insufficiency. Insufficiency, that's an interesting, insecurity.
No, sufficiency too.
Fill the barrel in the foyer and share your abundance with our neighbors in need. Thank you for making a difference this season.
And I'll also give a special thanks to those of you who participated in the Adopt a Family. We did it again this year. We had 13 participating members of the 2 families. They requested 42 gifts, which we gave them all of those gifts, and then more. And more. Some people, when we ran out of individual cards that identified a gift, said, okay, what can I do? And I said, just buy a debit card. So we contributed more debit cards.
Yeah.
And when I dropped the gifts off in Antioch a couple of weeks ago, I said, here's some gift cards. Give them to this family or whoever else needs them. And they said, oh gosh, that is so nice of you guys.
Grateful.
So it just goes to great. And I got to say, there was one person, she was here earlier, who got the gift that was on her little card to give for a little, I think it was a 4-year-old or a 3-year-old girl, and the little girl said she liked pink, so she got her pink socks, a pink sweater, all these things that weren't even on the card. And I asked her about it, and I said, well, that's great that you did it. And she said, I just love buying for little girls. So next year I'll make sure we pick out a family with at least one little girl in it to keep her happy, if nothing else. So now, yeah, or a little boy. So mark your calendar and join us for Unity's Christmas Eve candlelighting service. That's coming up this Wednesday at 7 o'clock. This beloved service features Christmas carols and a metaphysical interpretation of the Christmas story. We give it our divine light to the world as we sing Silent Night together with lit candles in a peaceful closing. I know you'll all enjoy it. and this will be a holy night.
End the year with your spiritual family at our transformative Burning Bowl ceremony. Come to Unity on New Year's Eve at 7 p.m. to let go of concerns and habits that no longer serve you. And look into your heart with passion and the promise of a bright, joyful year ahead. Together we'll create space for renewal, intention, and abundant possibilities.
And wait, there's more. Mark your calendar to attend our White Stone ceremony on Sunday, January 4th at both the 9:30 and 11:30 services. During this ceremony, you will each receive a white stone and a guiding word from Spirit as your North Star for 2026.
Do you sometimes feel stuck in your old story or caught in a loop that keeps you from moving forward?
Nobody?
you like
Just one
to-
person, huh?
Would you like to open your heart and mind to new possibilities for growth in the new year? Then be sure to attend an inspiring 6-week book study of Echoes of Myself,
This is the book I'll be using.
written by our dear friend Barbara Cavallo. Through heartfelt stories and simple exercises, discover how life's challenges can become gifts that help you release old patterns and step in your greatest to be. And as I said, it's facilitated by Barbara Cavallo Gordon and also Dana Schmidt. Where's Dana? Oh, she's out there. She's out there.
Dana's helping people in the door.
Yes. Attend the first class and receive a free gift. Pick up a flyer on the patio for more information. And then we welcome Reverend Kristen up for our Hanukkah and Advent lighting.
I was going to set my bear down, but we didn't want to part, so. So we have a special acknowledgement of both Hanukkah and Advent joy today. So for our meditation time, we're going to begin with a sharing of Hanukkah, and then we'll go into our usual meditation. If you've not been here before, that involves music, some guidance, silence, and then the reprise of that music, this being done by our amazing choir. And then we're going to wrap the whole meditation with coming back then with the Advent joy candle lighting. Another note we want to make is that we are symbolically lighting those candles today rather than actually lighting them because of allergic reaction in the choir to the smoke and candles. So just imagine the lights and know that the whole process is just equally as sacred. So we begin with Lisa Snordham Phelps and her 2 lovely daughters, Zoe and Alma, this year all 3 of them in the choir. And they will introduce us to Hanukkah, and then following the meditation, we'll have 2 choir members, Carol Richardson and Richard Flonder, lighting our Advent candle of joy.
Good morning again. So our family celebrates Hanukkah at home, and we're very joyful to be celebrating with you in a little way today. And Hanukkah, I won't tell the whole story. My mom used to tell it. It took 20 minutes. But Hanukkah is about freedom of religion and spirituality and about rededicating the temple. And I found a beautiful poem that I would like to read an excerpt from. This is by Marla Baker, A Hanukkah Prayer for a Time of Darkness. Creator of all, in the beginning, you made the night sky luminous with the light of the moon and the stars, and you made the daytime bright with the light of the sun, and saw that it was good. Creator of all and rock of ages, in the dark of night, at the darkest time of the year, we light candles in remembrance of the miracle of the light. 1 more each night until there are 8. Creator of light and dark, teach us once more to see into the shadows, to shed our light in the dark corners, and to create holy sparks for all humankind, so that once more we can say, it is very good. And now we will symbolically light Hanukkah candles. Hanukkah is 8 days of celebrating the miracle of the light that burned for 8 days. And today is the 7th day. And we will start by lighting the 7th day. And we go in that direction, and Hebrew is read in that direction from right to left. Oh, and we will speak the prayer, the traditional prayer in Hebrew, and then we will sing it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotov v'tzivanu l'chadlich ner shel Hanukkah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotov v'tzivanu l'chadlich ner shel Hanukkah. Thank you. So let's allow those a beautiful music to settle into our hearts. Perhaps conjuring up the magic of this season of light. The quiet of winter that begins on this day. And the coming of greater light day by day. As we breathe in the light and the love within us, we breathe out, expressing it and sending it in every direction.
And then there is joy, both the out loud expression of joy and song and dance and laughter, and the deep abiding joy. And the soft songs, and the winter snow, and the early darkness, and the warm lights that illuminate that dark. Within us is all of this, all the memories and the images, the experiences of the season. And within us this day and every day is joy. And we thank you, Spirit, for the divine order. Joy and laughter coming in right on cue. Thank you, God, for the medicine of laughter that massages all the organs and opens up space, relaxes shoulders and necks, and lets the good flow through us. And so let us enter this silent time doing exactly that, letting the good flow through us with every breath in the silence. I invite you to imagine that inside your heart is an unlit candle. And that candle is the candle of joy. And as you light it now, you do so with a consciousness that I'm lighting up my own being with the joy that lives inside of me. And once lit, there is a radiance, an aura of light that shines out in every direction from my very own heart. And on the rays of that light are fond memories, new experiences yet to come, innate knowing of play and joy for all people. A wish for the whole world to lighten up to the joy that is within. And so it is.
Today's reading comes from Unity's 2025 Advent booklet, With Love at Christmas. Joy is a quality we are invited to honor and develop during Christmas time and this season of light.
It is easy to feel joy watching children play or while singing our favorite carol. Yet joy isn't limited to the obvious moments. It also arrives in the quiet, unseen places. When we finally let something go once and for all and mean it this time, when we truly forgive or when we reach a goal we once only dreamed of.
Sometimes we overlook joy that is right here. So the invitation this week is to go within and take inventory of all the things that bring you joy in the big moments and the subtle ones.
Soon we begin to see the continuous ways the divine is at work in our lives, bringing about our good in all circumstances. It is no wonder we sing, "Joy to the world, the Lord has come."
Let's journey these final days to Christmas and beyond with this joyful awareness. All that comes our way is for our best and highest good.
Let us choose joy and become its living expression. And now we light the Advent candle of joy.
Now, normally, the Christ candle is lighted all through Advent, symbolizing our waiting for the coming of Christ in the world and within. And the three other candles of, I believe it's hope, faith, and love would all be lighted as well. Peace, thank you. And so I symbolically light from the Christ candle the candle of joy.
My life goes on an endless song. How can I keep from singing? No storm can shake my inmost calm. How can I keep from singing? How can I keep from singing? What though the
Wow. The Joyful Hearts Choir right here at Unity. I feel like I'm woken up and uplifted, like, boom. How about you? Especially those of you who were singing it yourselves, right? Well, there's so much going on this time of year, right? The convergence of all these celebrations and ceremonies and sacred times. Today, the solstice is happening at the same time as Advent Joy and Hanukkah, and probably a bunch of other ones we haven't mentioned today. But today, as the solstice, of course, it's the shortest day of the year in terms of the light, which means that starting tomorrow, it's going to get brighter and brighter every day. That brings us joy, right? So on this Advent journey, as Carol mentioned, there's stops along the way as we prepare to that journey toward Christmas. And last week we stopped at love, and this week we're at joy. And you've probably heard the phrase or the idea that I'm looking for love in all the wrong places, right? We can look for joy in all the wrong places too, you know? Lucinda Williams has a song called Joy, and in it she's looking for her joy. She goes to West Memphis, she goes to Slidell, and it seems like, I think she sings, maybe I'll find my joy there, so it's left as sort of a cliffhanger there, what happens to the hunt for joy. But then she has this refrain that has always disturbed me. And I don't know if you've heard Lucinda Williams, but she also has this way of singing. So it goes something like this. You took my joy and I want it back. Over and over again, And I've always just been disturbed by it because I want to be like, Lucinda, nobody can take your joy, right? Nobody can take our joy. I mean, well, I truly, firmly believe that because the joy is our God-given quality. Joy is something that we come in with. Joy is not negotiable. We negotiate it with ourselves, but it's not something that, we can say, well, I don't have it, or I don't have access to it, or it's not available to me. Now we're getting a little bit closer to what actually happens because we're going to talk a little bit about that today, of how it seems like it's not available, seems like it's not accessible to us. So I understand the hunt for joy in the song. I can relate to the hunt for joy. Can you relate to the hunt for joy? Yeah, I used to say, well, joy is kind of elusive because you have that feeling of joy, and then I used to want to figure out when it fades, how do you pin it down? How do you get it back? Have you been down this road before? And now I realize that hunt for joy, after a while, you come to realize that, oh, it's not out there. It's in here. And so if we're looking in the wrong places, West Memphis, Slidell, wherever it is that we're looking, we may not be finding it in those places because it's that abiding joy, that baked-in joy. It's part of the Creator's recipe for the human being. That joy is a part of it, is a part of us, is a part of the prototype of who we are. So joy has its own little space, But if you can relate to this idea of joy sometimes feeling elusive to you, or sometimes feeling like you're on a little bit of a hunt for it, you understand what I'm talking about. You understand that there is some sense of sometimes we feel like that joy isn't there. If I wrote a song about joy, my experience with joy, I would definitely talk about how joy is inside of us and we already have it. But I'd also talk about how I distance myself from it. I talk about how I sometimes constrain it or keep it from myself in some way. How I bridle it, we could say. That, of course, we know the root of that word is the idea of humans bridling horses in order to control them. So if we can think of joy as a wild horse, and the bridle as the way in which we try to restrain it, there's a sense of that constriction happening, right? My friend Sherry Tobin is a wildlife photographer and a wild horse advocate. And in America today, she's taught me that the Bureau of Land Management is rounding up horses all the time, trying to round up horses, talking about rounding up horses and often doing it. And it's in part because they're trying to control horse populations and they're trying to clear land for livestock use. And what happens, though, is there are these low-flying helicopters flying, over very close to the wild horses, and it is a terrifying experience for the horses. Injuries happen, deaths happen, and then the horses get corralled up, and more disease and death and various reasons why horses also then die in captivity. And so she and her fellow advocates are trying to raise awareness, and you know how it is, we need to take our own little corner of the world, as they say, think globally and act locally. And so it's the Montgomery Pass, the largest herd of wild horses left in California, that she and her fellow horsewoman and other advocates are focused on. So they've spent a lot of time out there, and when I asked Sherry permission to share this story today and share one of her pictures, let's take a look at a couple of her pictures there. Yeah, sweet, isn't it? And she has a lot of amazing pictures. But she was telling me about this video she took. We weren't able to connect on it, but she was telling me about this time when she and her friend went out who had spent time with this herd. And as soon as they arrived, about 10 of the horses in the herd started running toward them. And she said 3 or 4 of them were kicking up their heels as they were running, stopping every so often. And literally, she said, with this wild abandon of joy, they were kicking up their heels. And her interpretation was the sheer joy of running with their friends and running toward their friends to greet them. Isn't it beautiful? Just like our connection with these beings is so beautiful and so joyful and so special. And so I just really honor, she's watching today, I honor you, Sherry, for the work you're doing in the world. So when a horse lives unbridled, it remains free, just like our joy. Unbridled joy is a joy that isn't tamped down. It's a joy that hasn't gone MIA, right? And it goes MIA because of the things that we do, because we think joy is risky, oddly enough. Doesn't it seem like collectively, as human adults anyway, we think joy is kind of risky? Otherwise, why would we have all these antics to keep it at bay? But joy isn't careless. Joy is about being present. And unbridled joy is when we have finally taken those constraints off and we can feel that natural impulse, that natural quality that is a part of our being rise up from within us. So what are your bridles? Do you have any? Are you bridling your joy in any kind of way? Are you holding yourself back in some way? Do you have some killjoy attitudes? Like no time for rest because there's so much going on? Or I can't play now, or you can't play now because this is very serious? Or if I let myself feel joy now, I might get hurt or disappointed later. That's a big one, huh? So imagine loosening those reins. Imagine letting go of those kinds of attitudes and how you would move through the world without that. Like a wild horse, running with your friends, kicking up your heels, having a sense of that childlike way of being that we sometimes lose sight of. And Christmas time helps us cultivate a little bit more of it again, doesn't it? This time of year, the magic of this time of year, Hanukkah, I've experienced a personal Hanukkah ceremony at the Snortum Phelps, and it was so special to be a part of that, the songs and the prayers and the ritual and the fun. And the food and the company, all of those things, right, that are a part of the joy of this season and a part of the joy that we hold within our hearts all the time. So it's just about freeing it It's just about allowing ourselves. I want to invite you just for a moment to, if you'd like to check in and just ask yourself, where am I stifling my joy? Or am I? You may not be, but if there's any kind of constraint on my joy or bridling of my joy, where am I doing this? How's it showing up? And even if in these moments you don't connect with a specific way, you could just have a general sense of it. That there might be some ways that you're holding the reins. And what if you just loosened those reins? What if you just got some slack in there? We can do this by just breathing, by just allowing some spaciousness in our bodies, in our minds, in our lives, in our relationships, in our to-do lists, wherever you feel like you could use a little more freedom, a little more breath. Breathe into that now. Give spaciousness. Joy often approaches quietly, like a shy animal that comes in closer when it feels safe. Can you see it or feel it coming in a little closer? Just welcome it. Say hello. And I invite you to come back into this space when you're ready. I used to go to a chiropractor who's also she also did emotional healing kinds of work. And she was such a joyful person. I'd walk in the door of her office and suddenly just feel better because the way she greeted and the way she held her, it was very genuine. She was just a very, she would laugh easily. You've been around these folks, or maybe you're one of them. Just kind of an infectious sort of joy, right, of how they show up in the world. And she knew kind of my story and where I was in my process then. I was living in Kansas City and hadn't yet landed on what ministry was going to look like for me. And I came in that day with the news that I had an interview for it was my first interview for a ministry job. And she just like, wow, that is so fabulous, congratulations! And I quickly cautioned her. I don't know how this is going to turn out. I'm not even sure I want it. And I don't know, it's just, it's just something I'm doing. So she spun around in her chair. And then when she came back, she had this constricted body. And her voice was kind of low. And she had a deadpan face on, very serious. And she said, "Oh, okay." And then we both burst out laughing. She was my joy teacher, my joy doctor, showing me that you can enjoy, you can be in joy in anything. And you don't have to hold it at bay because you don't know how something's going to turn out. So it's that pre-thinking, this amazing human mind that gets us into trouble, right? That pre-thinks what's coming and then creates a whole list of possibilities of what's coming just so we're prepared. In case we get hurt, in case we get disappointed, right? But instead, we completely miss the moment. We completely miss the idea that joy is about being present, and joy is our birthright. Joy is what we came here with. Joy is one of those just amazing things that a little child comes into the world with. One of the first things that we're so excited about when a baby ends up focusing their eyes enough that they can return our smiles. Isn't that like the most sweet thing? Eleanor smiled at me last week. I'm still glowing from that. Yeah, it's just such an amazing thing because we're so wired for that. We're so wired for connection. Marshall Rosenberg, the creator of compassionate communication, used to say that humans are wired to spread joy, to give joy. And I think that's so true. It's so natural for us to want to be that. But how can we give joy and spread joy if we're hiding it from ourselves? If we're compressing it and restraining it in some way? Because of what might happen, or because of how it might look, or whatever all the reasons are that we give ourselves, right? That sort of slowly but surely, kind of tamp everything down. And then we just become these serious little adults that have to get so much done, right? Good Lord. So my exchange with the chiropractor just reminded me not to, tote around a wet blanket to throw over things, but instead just to be in the moment, of the joy. We often confuse joy with happiness, but happiness is a little bit more circumstantial. Happiness is like somebody does something nice to you, nice for you, and you feel happy about that. Or something turned out the way you wanted it to, and you feel happy about that. Or whatever it is, it tends to be related to circumstance. But joy doesn't go away. Joy is baked in. It's that recipe of the heart that is just created for us. It's baked into us. And so it's something that is more relational and more spiritual than happiness. It has no relative condition. It's just simply there. It's a deep, abiding joy, and it's an out loud, lived joy, right? It's both. Sometimes we're dancing like a fool and belly laughing and cry laughing and snort cry laughing and all that craziness that happens, right, in those spontaneous, lovely moments of joy. Singing together. I love to. Joyful Hearts Choir is the perfect title. I don't know who came up with that. Was that you, Lisa? The collective. Well, whatever. It's the perfect title for you all because that's what happens in the room when you're singing together. There's a harmonious joy, a coming together of joy, a rekindling of joy, an offering of joy for all of us who get to hear it and to watch you embody it. So all of that happens for us when we are willing to be in the joy, to remind ourselves that it's not so risky. It's just about being present. And it is a spiritual knowing. We have these spiritual contemporary giants that have lived in our lifetimes. The Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu, the late Desmond Tutu, who were very good friends. And together they wrote the Book of Joy. Here's a couple of pictures of them. This is typical of the two of them when they're together, right? There's a lot of laughter. There's some dancing at a very serious parliamentary kind of, gathering of interfaith. And there they are dancing. There's some pictures of the Dalai Lama kind of, mock blowing a kiss to Desmond Tutu. And if you know the stories of these two men, do you know what they've been through? I mean, being excommunicated from your country, being under fire as a peaceful monk, the whole experience of the Dalai Lama and his people, Desmond Tutu and his people, and apartheid in South Africa, and becoming the torch bearer to light the way, to take a term about Myrtle Fillmore, in his country to help heal that divisiveness and all the hatred and prejudice I'm sure that both of them have experienced as men of color. And yet, they are the absolute embodiment of joy. They don't go around and say, I've got really serious spiritual work to do in the world and I've got a lot of responsibility here. No, they laugh, they dance. And that is a great example for us. I don't know if Jesus really was caught on camera laughing, but the laughing Jesus is really fabulous. I have one of the original, not original, but it's not the original. It's a print of the guy who originally is known, Willis Wheatley, I think it is, who drew the laughing Jesus, and then there's all these other beautiful images of the laughing Jesus since then, reverberating throughout time, right? since the very beginning as that little child born at Christmas time. He loved to party. This is the things we don't know, that we don't really talk about Jesus, but he loved to party. When you read the passages, he was there breaking bread with his friends, drinking wine, turning the water into wine, it's not about alcohol. So please don't go there. It's just about connection and joy and celebration. And so that was something that obviously was a piece of his life that was important. And I'm sure he laughed a lot. We don't see those images very often, but I'm sure he did. Have you ever been dealing with multiple things in your life, like multiple challenges or stresses, and it starts to feel so heavy that you think, if one more thing happens, I'm just going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back, And then the one more thing happens. And instead of having a breakdown, you just start laughing. Have you ever done that? Yes. Yeah, isn't it the best? And so if we just could remember to do that sooner, like when the first thing happens, we'd be all set, right? But if we could just lighten up a little, take ourselves and take life a little less seriously, we would be following in the footsteps of these fabulous master teachers who understand that joy is intrinsic and there's nothing that's going to make it go away except for us choosing to do so, choosing to bridle it, to tamp it down, to control it, to corral it, to whatever it is that we might do. So in those moments when the joy kind of breaks through, the laughter breaks through, it doesn't mean that those issues or problems have gone away. It doesn't mean your situation is externally completely changed. It means you have returned to yourself. In that laughter, in that moment, you are remembering who you are. And that's really the essence of what joy is. Joy is self-remembrance. And so in that moment, you've come back to center. You've come back to that place where you know who you are. You have at least an inkling that I am this divine essence. I am this Christ that we're talking about being reborn again at Christmas. And I've come back home to that. And when we come back home to that, we get a wider perspective. So it may not be that those things that you were concerned about have been resolved, but suddenly you're in a bigger picture. And when we're in a bigger picture, it's a lot easier for us to resolve issues from that place of innate wisdom, from that place of being able to see things with a little breath around them, with a little more awareness around them. And that releases our joy again. Spontaneous joy we can all relate to, right? Those moments when you suddenly started dancing wildly, just because, or a dance broke out in your kitchen, or, whatever it is that happens occasionally to us, or maybe hopefully a lot to you, a belly laugh, or whatever it is that comes, those moments are precious, and we have more of them when we lighten up, when we let go, when we release, and we stop gripping everything so tightly. Joy comes when we breathe, unbridled joy, simply expressing what is natural for us. And children really know the way to this, right? Children are great teachers when it comes to joy. They don't intellectualize joy. That seems to be our tendency to want to intellectualize everything. Children don't say, I'll play when everything's resolved. Right? Or they don't say, I'm very worried about my future. Typically, they don't say that. Some of our children, unfortunately, have to grow up sooner. But they enter the moment fully. I remember I was quite a bit younger than both my sisters, and so I remember Christmas morning coming in and seeing the lit up tree and the piles of presents. And I was so excited that my hands would shake like this. My sisters still make fun of me today. They'll probably bring it up on Friday when I'm with them again. But But it's that kind of like that joy that we don't want to contain, that's just reverberating through our being. It's that we open to. It's that childlike remembrance of spontaneity, of play, of dance, of song, of laughter, of all those things that are very natural to us that gets released. Jesus said, to enter the kingdom of heaven, what? You need to become like a little child. Right? And this is what he was talking about. Children trust. Children know how to be in the moment. And that's the pathway we need to follow, to just trust and be in the moment. All is well. My joy is not in any way stolen or taken away, even hidden. It's right here. I know where to find it. So it's that embodiment of joy, of Christmas joy, that children are especially good at. Joy is what happens when we stop managing the situation, managing the moment, and we start inhabiting the moment instead. I have an example of this that's really fresh for me is taking my dogs to the park, and it's around dinner time, and I'm now managing the moment because, well, it's time to get going home, and so I'm calling to Samson that, and I usually say to him, it's time for dinner, and he knows that word. And then Samson inhabits the moment. So I have this image of him because he always does it. He starts running ahead of me. All of a sudden, the very slow movement through the park has become this run, but it's not even a run, it's a run bounce. And as he bounces, his tail goes side to side in rhythm, and he's ahead of me, so I'm just seeing this little dog behind, and it's bouncing and running, and the tail is coordinated with the movements, right? And that's the image I think of when I want a little shot of joy, Do you have one of those? Do you have a joy image? Yeah, take a moment just to see. Is there a joy image for me? Is there something that's happened or happens that just always makes me smile? See if you can call it in. And just allow it to make you smile in your heart, in your mind, maybe even on your face. And maybe it'll even put a little more bounce in your step as you move about the day. There probably are thousands of these images in a day, in a lifetime, if we're just paying attention, if we're just inhabiting the moment. They'll come. And then we can cultivate them in the moments we forget, call them in. So unbridled joy, that's self-remembrance. That's the essence of what it is. It's a kind of freedom that we especially feel when we take the constraints off. If we've had constraints and then we become wild and free again, boy, do we appreciate it, right? And so I would venture to guess that most of us know what it feels like to have some constraints on our joy, to have placed some constraints on our joy. And so now look out, because as you release these constraints, there's going to be a whole lot of energy that gets released as well, joyful energy. So find your reins and let them go. And allow yourself to feel and to free that wild horse of joy that is in you. Let freedom reign again instead of reining in, right? The joy. Let joy reign again. And know that this isn't just about you, because joy is infectiously contagious, is it not? It is radiant. And so when you come into your joy, everyone around you is going to thank you for coming back home to that space, because then they too will get ignited. And this is what we're really about here together, is allowing that radiant, contagious joy to reverberate through the whole human herd. So I want to invite you to affirm with me, and I want to thank everybody who's watching online. Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy Joy Sunday. Let's say this together. I unbridle my joy and set myself free. You want to say it again and really feel it? I unbridle my joy and set myself free. Hooray!
start cue there.
I absolutely love that talk. Did you know that my name means Song of Joy? When I found that out, I thought it was like at a seminar, and someone told me that, and it was like Kunta Kinte. I'm joy. But it also reminded me that there are times, the hardest part for me, I feel a lot of joy, but I'm almost too much when I have too much for a lot of people, that joy. And particularly if you're with someone who's going through a hard time. And who do you express that joy with? And I was blessed to have a dear, dear friend, Janet Kale Ryan, who was a practitioner in the Church of Religious Science, and she attended all of the heart math things. And we were joy partners. And what that meant is that the phone would ring, and Janet would say, "Carolyn, your joy partner is calling. May I speak to my joy partner?" And I remember her calling one time, and this was when she was dying. She had cancer. I was on her care team. And I'm just sobbing, and she happens to call in the middle of it. And she said, "May I speak to my joy partner?" And I said, "Just a moment, I'll call her to the phone." and I went like this, and it just all bubbled up, and we started to laugh because we did laughter yoga together. But in the midst of her dying, I could still receive her joy, and she could receive mine. And so I have let go of that practice. So I'm going to ask someone to be
a joy partner.
I have some that I've asked people to be my joy partner. Louise, is she here? I've remembered that I was telling the story, and she said she'd be my partner. So Louise, if you're online, we need to get connected again about joy. Sorry to speak so long.
Well, the beauty in it, if you do hook up, the obligation of the joy partner is to say, "I'm here," and you're sharing a joy. That's not like I need to get joy. The person calling has already got a joyful thing to share. It's a sweet thing to do. I was sitting there thinking about it during the service, how we could hook each other up. Our prayer chaplains are available after the service to provide personal prayer support. If you're a prayer chaplain serving today, there they are, Mike and Charlie.
Whether you have a joy or concern in your heart today, praying with our prayer chaplains is a powerful opportunity to have your intentions raised in consciousness.
And now let's open our hearts to the practice of giving. So should have a pause in here. I invite you to prepare your gifts as we align with the universal law of circulation. As we give, we shall receive, because in truth there is no lack or limitation, and abundance is our true nature.
For your convenience, there are a variety of ways to financially give to our community. You can see them on the screen. And for those of you that are watching online, there is a donate button on the Watch Live page. We encourage everyone to set up regular and automatic giving through your bank's free PayPal.
It's easy to say sometimes and not so.
Why didn't you say it?
You can set up your automatic giving to Unity using your bank's free bill pay service.
Thank you, Carl.
That's why we pair up together.
That's right.
I invite you to take your tithe or offering in your hand and repeat our affirmation with me. Together, divine love, one with me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am joy-filled and grateful. Thank you.
Ding dong.
just love that resolution, just like a bell at the end, huh? Dana and Molly, come on up if you're done collecting all the good and the bears. I think we might have some bears left. Do we have bears left? Does anybody know? There are still bears in the bookstore if you're interested, and I think they'll go off to foster children this week. So thank you both, and thank all of you for your generous giving. And we will hold these generous gifts just long enough to give thanks for them. And then we know they move through our hands and our hearts out into all the ways that this ministry serves. In joy, spreading joy, having fun, right? This is our motto. And so let us allow that ease of joy to be a part of that abundant good that is flowing through us right now. Receiving, giving, receiving from the heart of joy. And let's bless it together. We give thanks for the ever-increasing, constant flow of absolute good in our lives now. And so it is. Speaking of joy, come on in,
All right,
kids.
let's bring in the kids. We are a circle of love. We are a circle of life. Come join the circle of love. Come join the circle of light. The light in you and the light in me are one. The light in you and the light in me are one.
Hi.
I think I'm on. Yes, hi. Hi. We were, the kids and I, we had a great time, and I had help with Jody and Mike, and we were also talking about joy and what brings us joy in this time of year. And sometimes it's important to do joy for no other reason than it's just fun, and we like it. And so we decorated gingerbread houses for no other reason than it just brought us joy. And it's important to do that this time of year, right?
Yeah.
Anybody, who wants to talk about it? You wanted to, right? Sure.
So yeah, we created gingerbread houses, and we made like different things. Lots of other sprinkles, frostings, and we also read a book about Santa coming to California. And at one point it was like very foggy, but they got through the fog, and then they crashed into the Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh, what?
Santa had fun on his way through the Sierra Nevada. All right, Santa joy.
All right. Well, let's bless our children, youth, and teachers together. Children, youth, and teachers, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divine light within you.
All right, please rise and embody your spirit as we're going to sing our closing song, Prayer for Protection.
are the light. You are the light and the love and the joy on earth right now. So let your light shine. Have fun and spread joy.